Good evening, everyone. Good evening, my friends, and all of you are my friends, and welcome to Bradley University, where tonight we've come together to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Chabad in Peoria, Illinois. Yeah. How good is that? I'm Jeff Huberman. My day job is I'm the Dean of the Slane College of Communications and Fine Arts at Bradley University, and I am a good friend of Chabad. And if you don't believe it, check out my Facebook page. This is a momentous event. I hope you all understand that. It's not just the 10th anniversary of Chabad in Peoria, but it's the 10th anniversary of everything they have brought to Peoria that we have enjoyed over these last 10 years. This is also a momentous event because it's the first strictly kosher, large-scale, formal dinner event in Bradley's 114-year history. Right, so this is not just an ordinary meet and greet and eat. Oh no. Surely you could tell by the hors d'oeuvres that this is a very special culinary event. Not one of those affairs where the hors d'oeuvres are those, you know, those little hot dogs wrapped in the dough, what do you call, you excuse the expression, pigs in a blanket. No, no. This is not chopped liver smeared on a cracker served with, as what my grandfather used to say, a glass of tea and a piece of fruit. No. No way. As always, and you all know this, when Rabbi and Sarah Langsam invite you to dinner, you're going to eat some very, very good kosher Jewish food. Well, is there any other kind of kosher food? I don't know. And you know what they say about Jewish food? After you eat it, you're hungry again in 72 hours. And when you're invited to dinner at Bradley with Ron Gibson and Chef Josh presiding and President Glasser as one of the guests of honor, you know that elegance and the art of high gastronomy are the order of the night. And then when you take Ellie and Ron and Josh and Joanne and they all converge, well, we're in for a great time, down to the very last detail. And by the way, the dishes that you're eating on are brand new kosher dishes for the permanent Bradley collection. And the cutlery, the knives, the forks, and the spoons that are at your table are there because Rabbi Langsam was up till 5 o'clock in the morning koshering each one of them. Now, the great food that you're going to have tonight, you may ask, how kosher is it? Well, when we were planning out kosher food service for Bradley, when we were building our new 4 new kosher kitchens here at Bradley, we talked to Rabbi Langsam, who certifies kosher for us, certifies kashrut, and I said to him, Rabbi, I want this kashered at a level sufficient that you will eat the food. When I see you eating the food, I'll know it's okay. So my advice to you tonight, if you have any question, is watch the rabbi. When he chows down, dig in. When you see so much good food and happiness, you know it's a Jewish celebration. That's how we do it. Every celebration has to do with eating well and having a good time. So tonight we come together to celebrate that 10th anniversary of Chabad in Peoria. It was 10 years ago, with the encouragement and the support of Dr. Tom Halprin and his extraordinary family, that Ellie and Sarah Langsam arrived in town from Crown Heights in Brooklyn. I'm from Brighton Beach, but Crown Heights is okay. They founded Chabad in Peoria, an organization that's an extension of their own house and their own lives, dedicated to doing good deeds in every corner of the community, Jewish and otherwise. You may ask, what is Chabad? Chabad Lubavitch is a Hasidic movement in Orthodox Judaism. It is one of the world's larger and best-known Hasidic movements. Its official headquarters is in Crown Heights, that section of Brooklyn, New York. And the organization is said to be today the largest Jewish organization in the world. Now, the name Chabad is really interesting. It's an acronym for 3 Hebrew words: Chochmah, Bina, and Da'at. Chochmah, wisdom. Bina, understanding, and Da'at, knowledge. Wisdom, understanding, knowledge. What a perfect fit for Bradley. Because here at Bradley, we are also in the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom business. That's what we do. And the Talmud tells us that hate is only possible where there is an absence of understanding. And so those words are chosen for their power to wipe out hate from the world. That is no small mission. Chabad was founded in the late 18th century by Shneur Zalman of Liadi. The Lubavitch branch takes its name from Lubavici, the Russian town where the group was based until the early 20th century. But it was the renowned and revered Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson who in the 20th century turned the movement into a powerful worldwide force within Judaism. Chabad maintains institutions in over 1,000 cities around the world. And in the early 21st century, get this, there were an estimated 3,300 Chabad institutions around the world in 70 countries, providing outreach and educational activities for Jews through Jewish community centers, through synagogues, schools, and camps. And we've got one of those centers right here in Peoria, Illinois. In the USA, there are over 600 establishments, 300 in Israel. Chabad has a presence in 950 cities around the world, 178 in Europe, 14 in Africa, 200 in Israel, 400 in North America, 38 in South America, and 70 in Asia. And it's got one in Peoria right here, right now. Chabad.org is currently the largest Jewish educational website worldwide. Here's how it works. This is the good part. Typically, a young Lubavitch rabbi and his wife in their early 20s, with 1 or 2 children, will move to a new location, and as they settle in, will raise a large family, who, as a family unit, will aim to fulfill their mandate of bringing Jewish people closer to Judaism and to performing mitzvahs. That's exactly how we got our young 20-something rabbi and his wife in their early 20s. Now, 10 years later, at least one of them, I'm not mentioning any names, is in his early 30s. That's Rabbi Langsam and his wonderful family. Ellie, Sarah, and the 4 kids. They are collectively, and you all know this, a force of nature. And behind every great force of nature, there is an irresistible force. And in Chabad, like in every other aspect of Jewish life, it's the Jewish mother that is the irresistible force. And we don't want to minimize this. How irresistible, you might ask? Well, you know the difference between a Jewish mother and a terrorist, don't you? You can negotiate with a terrorist. But they are, and they have been since the day they arrived, a whirlwind of activity. They started the first Peoria Chabad house in their house. And then they moved to bigger quarters at Knoxville and Lake, and soon they're going to be on Bradley's campus full-time. But there's still great things that go on in their house. You know, just about every week there's an event for women only called Around Sarah's Table, where they have a great lunch and they learn a lot. And I'm told that the best part of it often is the incredible challah that Sarah makes by herself. It's homemade. It's supposed to be the best anybody has ever tasted. I've tasted it. It's true. It is her grandmother's recipe. That, rumor has it, is based on the original recipe of manna from heaven. Full disclosure, I started that rumor. They have also brought to Peoria a summer camp for kids, community holiday celebrations with an emphasis on celebration. If you've been to the Purim parties, you know what I'm talking about. If you've been over there for Sukkot, you know what I'm talking about. They built a community mikvah. They teach adult education classes. They teach children's education classes at the day school. And they reach out to all the surrounding communities of central Illinois. I'm telling you, there are Megillah readings and lulav shaking going on in the prisons in central Illinois. And in recent years, Chabad has greatly expanded its reach on university and college campuses. There are Chabad student centers are active in over 100 campuses, and Chabad offers varied activities at an additional 150 universities worldwide, and we've got one on our campus. And oh my, what Chabad has done on the hilltop. By the way, one of the people we've learned a lot from, and one of the great people we have here tonight are David and Goldie Teichtel, who run the incredible Chabad house at the University of Illinois, and they're here as our guests tonight. So, what's Rabbi Langsam done on the hilltop? Well, he's helped bring us full kosher service in our residence halls. He worked with Ron Gibson and Seth Katz and Ken Golden and Gary Anna and Adam Lontai with the full backing of President Joanne Glasser, and they brought 4 kosher kitchens and full kosher food service in our residence halls at CRC standards, as interpreted by Rabbi Langsam's own PK, Peoria Kosher Heksher. Yeah, it's pretty good. And I want to tell you, it is as good as it can be. If you have seen some of the pictures Bradley put on its website of Rabbi Langsam inspecting lettuce to put on our sandwiches, you know there's not going to be a bug anywhere near those sandwiches. And he brought us, we have to do a shout out tonight to David Shiner. He brought us David Shiner to be the mashkiach, and he's here working in the kitchens tonight. This is, there's always culture shock when people from the big city, especially from the East and other places in the world, come to the Midwest. And David Shiner came to Peoria from the big city, and when he came here, we didn't have his apartment ready for him, and so one of our friends at Bradley volunteered to put him up at his farmhouse in Metamora. David told me one day he's sitting on the porch of the farmhouse. He saw this cloud of dust up the road, and he walked out to see who could be approaching, and it was this Illinois farmer pulling a wagon. Oh, what did David do? He says in a typically nice Chabad way, "Good afternoon." "Afternoon," said the farmer. David said, where are you headed? He says, town. And David said, what do you got in the wagon? The farmer says, manure. David said, manure, what do you do with it? Farmer says, I spread it over the strawberries. And David said, well, you should come over to Bradley for lunch someday. We use sour cream. And we do. Well, the Langsoms and Chabad of Peoria have brought the holidays to Bradley University like we never had them before. They bring food to Bradley University. They've started an organization for observant students called Jewish Bradley Chabad. They are active in Hillel. They do all kinds of events with AE Pi. Rabbi Langsom has gone with us on recruiting trips to try to attract and bring more observant students to Bradley, and he's doing an incredible job. He teaches Hebrew as an adjunct professor. They have Shabbat services and Friday night dinners that typically attract 80 to 100 people. And the food, oh gee, were any of you around for Hanukkah last year when we had the big menorah lighting in the student center right about where we are now? Did any of you taste those latkes that Sarah made for them? Well, you're going to have another chance coming up real soon, and I recommend it. And of course, there's this celebration tonight. Now, the incredible thing is, I have to say all this about Ellie and Sarah Langsom because they won't say it about themselves. They don't take credit easily. They make a life of giving credit away to others. Why? Because it's a mitzvah. There's an old Kabbalah saying that when a mitzvah, which is an obligatory good deed, is fulfilled, an angel is created. Well, my friends, Peoria's Chabad Lubavitcher Rebbe has got a whole flock of them. Call them Ellie's angels. Psychologists tell us that the natural, charismatic, high-energy leader of the pack is called an alpha male or an alpha female. The kosher Jewish Chabad version of that is the Aleph male, I guess. So, my friends, it is now my great pleasure to introduce to you the Aleph male half of the rabbinical power couple of Peoria, Illinois, the maestro of the mitzvahs, the mensch of the mention, and the rabbi who spent until 5 a.m. this morning koshering every spoon and fork on your table, Rabbi Ellie Langsom.